when you look at society, all you have to do is go to your local supermarket, go to your local mall. Everyone's sick, everyone's fat, everyone's depressed. Like genuinely, most people I know, they're 20 years of age, nothing's wrong in their life. Everything's going good. They're in shape. They got great friends, great family, and they're chronically depressed. Like, there's no reason for that. Well, there should be no reason for that, I should say. But as we see, when people go on carnivore, these things like reverse themselves. When you're eating all these inflammatory foods and your gut's destroyed, like hormones like serotonin, which is the hormone that just makes you feel like bliss, relaxed, happy with the world. 90% of that's made in your gut. So when you're eating these poisons, because that's what they are, people call them food, but they're an addictive, poisonous drug. When you look at the ingredients, half of them have numbers. It's obscene how they feed this to people.
Max, how did you find carnivore?
Well, I mean, I was in my apartment at university, and well, I thought I had nutrition all figured out, being the wise 20-year-old I was at the time, and I stumbled upon a video from Dr. Anthony Chafee titled, what was the title? Why Plants Are Trying to Kill You. So I thought, well, this sounds fascinating. It caught my attention right away. I'd seen a few of Paul Saladino's Instagram shorts, so I kind of knew what he was going to say, but I hadn't really heard the full, like, everything there was, the in-depth, all the names of the defense chemicals. I hadn't heard all of that yet. So I watched that video, and everything I was hearing just made perfect sense, talking about how if vegetables were so necessary and they contained everything we need and nothing we didn't, why do they have this bitter taste? And just the more I listened to it, the more it just fundamentally made sense. And then from that day onwards, became absolutely obsessed with the topic. I'm doing a law degree at the moment, but so obsessed with the topic that next year I'm switching out my law degree and doing a human biology degree, just to I really want to. So obscenely fascinated by this topic that it's the only thing I really think about now is the carnivore diet, really. Well, I shouldn't say the only thing I think about, but you know what I mean? The thing that really fascinates me is this.
So what's the kind of timeline on that? When did you actually get started yourself?
So I went strict carnivore. I made a video probably a couple of weeks ago now called I ate only meat for 210 days. So basically 230 days of eating essentially nothing but steak and eggs. So been on it for a long time now, and it's unbelievable the differences, as I'm sure many of your guests have discussed.
So you kind of started by saying you thought you had this all figured out, and then you saw his video. So what was, you had it all figured out. So how were you doing beforehand, and then what's changed since?
Yeah, well, so I've been really interested in nutrition and fitness since the age of about 14. So I'd gone down all the count your calories rabbit holes, and watched all the science lifting videos, and I thought, like, watched all, big fans of a lot of the top bodybuilders. I'd watch what they ate, and I really thought I had a good grasp on what it took to get in shape. And in the past, I had got in shape by counting calories, but it was such a terrible process. Like, as everyone that has counted calories knows, you lose a bit of weight for the first couple of weeks, then you're feeling good, the scales are down, and all of a sudden, boom, you just get ridiculously hungry. You've got no energy. And when you have a life to live, if you're a professional bodybuilder and your only goal is to get on stage looking as lean as you can, if you have to suffer through being hungry and having low energy, that's fine. But when you've got studies to do, exams to do, you've got jobs, you've got a life, it's really not a good way to be. So I thought I had it figured out with you just got to count your calories. That's how you get in shape. I absolutely suffer to do it. I'd got in shape once or twice, but as soon as I got in shape, I'd go on the whole, I'd do the whole gym bro cutting phase, getting lean, and then go on the bulk, as say. But as soon as I go on the bulk, because I'd restricted myself for so long and given myself small quantities of, these hyper palatable processed foods, which are designed to make us eat as much as we possibly can, by limiting them for so long, the second I gave myself a bit of freedom, I'd just go off the scales. Like the weight I would gain pretty quickly into my bulk was just obscene. And yeah, I just assumed that was how it meant to be, because you'd watch these videos of the bodybuilders. They'd talk about, yeah, you're suffering. This is what it takes, rah, rah, rah. This is what it takes to be in shape. Look around, no one's in shape. When in reality, if we look back a couple hundred years ago, like if you were fat, you're in a circus. No one was out of shape until recently. So I thought I had it all figured out. All you got to do is count your calories. It sucks, but that's how it's meant to be. But yeah, ever since I discovered carnivore, it's literally within like 2-3 months, I was in great shape. I wasn't hungry once. I'd get hungry. I'd eat a massive meal of steak and eggs. I had incredible energy the whole time. Like, I was 21, I should say, and it monumentally increased my energy levels. Like, I could only imagine for someone who's a bit older and had even less energy levels, just how much of a game changer this would be. So yeah, that's what I mean by I thought I had it figured out, but boy was I wrong.
So I grew up as well thinking you need to have carbs to be able to perform in the gym, and it was just you had to bulk up and then do all the stuff. And was it a surprise for you to start realizing, oh, this muscle is coming on so much more easily now that I'm just eating meat and eggs?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You're always told that if you want to gain the mass, you gotta be eating massive quantities of food, the rice. It's almost just like well, obviously not a fact, but it's just everyone believes that if you want to gain muscle, if you want to perform at the top, you need carbohydrates. So the notion of completely removing carbohydrates and going on the zero carbohydrate diet, at the start, it sounds incredibly foreign. And like, even in my YouTube videos that I make, I've always got athletes commenting saying, hey man, I play this sport, I want to do carnivore, but do you think I should include fruit because I need it for my sport? So yeah, it was completely foreign to me at the time, and to most people, like, it's still very foreign. And one thing that really like trips me out with the carnivore diet is because I've made the YouTube videos for a while, and my entire audience is carnivore people. When I say things, everyone's in agreement. It's like, oh yeah, that's true, rah. But recently, I'd gone over to Instagram, and it's a much like more diverse people. You got all the vegans and all those characters on the videos, and I say the exact same thing that I'd say in my YouTube video, and it's just like a known fact, like, oh, plants, vegetables, the sole goal is to defend themselves, so they have these defense compounds. And you say these things on an Instagram short, and all the comments are calling you an idiot and stuff. It's such a funny contrast between what you think the average person knows, and then when you see the true average person's perspective, it's just yeah, very foreign to everyone.
That's really interesting because I've never got into the Instagram side of things.
Oh, it's wild. I'm getting abused on an hourly basis. It's very entertaining. I sit there having a good laugh to myself.
So do you feel like you're able to kind of find some people to come over, or is it just like a total fight over there?
Oh, well, I mean, I've only started about a week ago, so I haven't really had too much of a chance to. But I'm sure over time we'll get them. They'll realize the truth. They'll see the light.
Interesting. So along the same point, like in real life, how have people reacted to the way you're eating, and maybe people that you went to gym with before in the kind of the before times, what's their feeling about it?
Yeah, well, I mean, at the start, when I told people I was doing this crazy all meat thing, no one could really comprehend it. No matter where I went, like, somehow it would come up because everyone knows I'm into the gym. So like, oh, you're eating the chicken and rice, man, rah. So somehow it always come up that I've switched to this carnivore diet, and just no one could believe what I was saying. Like, every time I went out, I'd be in a half an hour discussion with someone where they're going through all the common things. What about cholesterol, fiber? Like this, just the common myths with carnivore is that was the typical reaction from nearly everyone I knew. Originally, when I told my parents, they were a bit concerned, but then as I started to learn more and more, and they'd ask me questions, and I'd have the answers. Over time, both of them jumped on carnivore as well, and they've both lost like 15, 20 kilos in the best shapes they've been in 20, 30 years. But both of my aunties are on it. They've not been on it for long, maybe 2-3 months. They've both dropped 10, 15 kilos and feeling amazing. Like, yeah, but at this point now, my best mate's on it. one of my other good mates, he has still with a bit of fruit, but yeah, he's very close to carnivore. My brother's on it, so yeah, pretty much everyone now is realized, okay, this is the light, and
Wow.
jumped on it. Yeah, yeah.
So influence both online and off. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's what inspired me to create this channel. Is I just my YouTube channel rather is I just saw everyone. Well, obviously I had my own personal experience, and then I just saw everyone else around me that did it. Just like life basically changed. I was like, I got to get this to more people, and hence what also inspired the complete change in life course by dropping out of law school midway through to study the biology and nutrition.
Yeah. So on the nutrition front, sorry, on the study front rather,
Mhm.
um, how um how has that impacted your study? You know, are you kind of more motivated to study? Are you better at studying? Are you better at remembering things? Is anything like that improved?
Well, I just finished my because it was a law, it was a commerce degree with a law, so I just finished my last exams for that. But yeah, for the next year, I will be starting the already applied, already got in. Yeah, I'm well aware they're going to educate me on the importance of fiber and all that, but I feel like in a few years' time, when I have that piece of paper, it just adds credibility to the argument. You know what I mean? So that's the. But to answer your question as to whether it is easier to study, absolutely. Like whenever you're interested in something, it makes it a lot easier, and that's what I've found with the whole carnivore thing. Like, when I'm watching a video, I'm sitting there engaged, taking notes. Whereas some of the lectures where I'm not as engaged with, every now and then you doze off, you go into la la land. But when you really enjoy something, makes it a lot easier to study. And even like some of the professional UFC fighters talk about this. They're like, then they encourage like lighter sparring because when you're having fun and you're enjoying it rather than being scared about being punched in the face as much, you learn a lot more. So yeah, like I said, a lot of the top fighters talk about the importance of having fun whilst learning. So it makes a massive difference in my experience as well.
Nice. So, do you feel for the upcoming part of your education when you swap over, you're going to have to spend a lot of time biting your tongue?
Oh, absolutely. It's when on day two they're talking about the importance of fiber and how red meat's inflammatory and all this. I'm gonna be sitting there just it's gonna pain me writing a few essays on the importance of a well balanced diet. It will pain me.
You just got to get through it to get the qualification, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. This has been a pretty big change for you in just 220, 230 days.
Hmm.
Did you were pretty health focused beforehand, right?
Yeah.
You were never in a situation where you were kind of overweight or anything like that?
Nah, well, not really. Like I said, I'd do the cutting and then I'd gain a lot of the weight back whilst bulking. So I'd go from being like incredibly lean and then 2 months later I'd gain like 10, 15 kilos in the name of bulking. So it wasn't like I was ever like really obese, but it was like, whole jeepers, who is this guy? Like when you didn't see me for a couple months and I'd come back and I'd gained all this weight, it was yeah. But I didn't really start carnivore because I had too many problems, as say. I just watched that video and it just made perfect sense to me. And I was like, wow, I've been doing everything wrong my entire life. So I figured I'd give it a go. And literally within like 2 days, my energy levels were like through the roof. And I was like, okay, yeah, there's no going back from this. This is the way. And yeah, just taking the time to really look into it ever since then. And yeah.
So, a lot of people your age are kind of, enjoying the party life and all that kind of thing. You don't miss any of that kind of the alcohol and all that kind of thing?
Nah, not really. I mean, every now and then I'll have a few to drink, but I understand it's I'm well aware of how terrible it is for me, but every now and then if it's a good friend's party or something like that, I'll have a bit. But yeah, it's to be fair, I'd stopped properly drinking a couple years back when I was 18, 19, and here in New Zealand, the legal age of drinking is 18. So when I was 18, 19, I'd drink a bit, like everyone over here does. But yeah, I've stopped properly drinking for a year or two beforehand anyway. So don't miss that.
Yeah. Nice. So how are you eating day to day? How many meals?
I'll usually do probably about 3 meals a day, and that's usually I'll either have 5 eggs and about half a kilo, which is 1.2 pounds of steak per meal, and then yeah, or I'll just have a meal of just 1.2 pounds of steak. So I'll do that 3 times a day. Yeah, but I'm very active on because I just have so much energy. Like any spare moment I get, I'm training, whether it be martial arts, going for a run, doing some random class at the gym. Like as many people on Carnivore experience, you just feel so good working out, you know. So it's any spare moment I got, me and my other mate who are on Carnivore, yeah, that's what we do.
You're almost compelled to move, right? It's like someone explained this to me once. Like, as you are kind of, I guess you're feeding, or there's an increase in production of testosterone, and
Mhm.
testosterone is the hormone that, makes work enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I noticed that monumentally, just a complete change in mindset. Like even pre-carnivore me versus me now, just even my beliefs on the world are rather different. I remember seeing this interesting study. There's a bit unrelated to what I just said, but I remember seeing an interesting study that found that left-wing men, when they injected them with steroids, they actually changed all their opinions and became more right-winged. So it's a very interesting, example of what happens when you have these hormonal changes in the body. You know, even if your external circumstances stay the same, simply just by having an increase in a certain hormone can change your entire worldview.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, you mentioned martial arts. What kind of martial arts are you doing?
I've got a MMA gym up the road, so I just do a bit of jiu-jitsu, a bit of kickboxing.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah. A couple of my mates are right into it. They're doing the fights and stuff. So yeah, train with them quite a bit. Yeah, good fun.
My oldest daughter does jujitsu, and
Oh,
when
nice.
I watch her fights, it looks pretty intense.
Yeah, yeah. It's good fun. Yeah.
That you've got the energy to do that, to go running, to train at the gym. It's just, yeah, it's and study.
Oh, it's seriously a game changer. Like I don't really get tired anymore. You know, as long as I've had a good sleep, it's basically impossible for me to get tired.
So actually, let's kind of just list this out. So you're running a YouTube channel, you're
Hmm.
studying,
Hmm.
you're martial arts, you're running, you're training at the gym.
Hmm.
You're doing some kind of full-time or part-time job as well?
Well, I was until recently, but the YouTube channel is doing quite well, and I still live at home, so my expenses are very low. So my YouTube channel
Oh,
and the coaching I do with the clients online covers is my job. But
wow. So
mm,
you're doing coaching on top of that as well.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And how has your sleep been? Did you notice an improvement in sleep and maybe a requirement for less once you started Carnivore?
Yeah, I definitely did actually. What I find now is I wake up at like 4 a.m. in the morning before my alarm goes off, just like rearing to go. Like I was always that guy that like I'd snooze my alarm as many times as I possibly could. You know, if I had to be out the house at 7:30, I'd have 5 alarms set from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and even at 7 o'clock, I'll be looking for a way to sneak an extra 10 minutes. But now, like I'll wake up some days after like 6 hours after going to bed at say maybe 9 o'clock at like 3 a.m. and I'll wake up and I'll think to myself, oh Max, you know what? Maybe you should get a little bit more sleep just so you know we feel extra good throughout the day. But I just have so much energy, I can't get back to sleep. So I'm up, I got to do something, even if it's really early in the morning. And yeah, just a complete and utter contrast in comparison to what I had beforehand.
Yeah, when I first started Carnivore and I experienced this for the first time, this kind of feeling almost like your body is saying to you, "What's next? Okay, what's next on my list? I've checked that off. I've done the sleep bit for you. Okay, now what's next?" And you're just ready to go.
Yeah, literally at all times, and it's like I
Mm.
was talking about earlier with like the like feeling like a different person with the I don't know if it's a hormonal change. I'd speculate that it's that, but Like even the things that I used to enjoy, I just like even just like scrolling on my phone. After like 5 minutes, I'm like just complete and utterly bored. Like I have to go and do something that's challenging myself. Whereas I was always like that, but it's just to a heightened degree since going on carnivore.
Going forward, you see this as being your, I mean, I know it's early days now, but this is the lifestyle you're going to have going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I see no reason why I'd ever not be carnivore. I like to keep an open mind. It's painful listening to those people, especially you see all the time with vegans who are just so stubborn in their ways that they're not willing to hear other perspectives. But I mean, as we all know, the carnivore diet is the proper human diet. You look at our fossils and we had the high nitrogen 15 ratings, indicating that we always ate meats. We have all these evolutionary adaptation. Like the carnivore diet is the proper human diet. Whenever someone goes on the carnivore diet, with as long as they're doing it correctly, without exception, they see all these tangible benefits. Sure, some blood, some blood test readings aren't allegedly where they're meant to be, but when you look at the pure, tangible evidence that can be measured, the carnivore diet is definitely how humans are meant to eat. And like I said, I'm just completely and utterly fascinated by how it all works. And yeah, this is how I plan to eat and live moving forward.
Yeah. So, and once you've finished your degree,
Mhm.
what are your plans?
Honestly, I just want to inspire as many people as possible to go on this diet. Like when you look at society, all you have to do is go to your local supermarket, go to your local mall. Everyone's sick, everyone's fat, everyone's depressed. Like genuinely, most people I know, they're 20 years of age, nothing's wrong with in their life. Everything's going good. They're in shape. They got great friends, great family, and they're chronically depressed. Like there's no reason for that. Well, there should be no reason for that, I should say. But as we see, when people go on carnivore, these things like reverse themselves. When you're eating all these inflammatory foods and your gut's destroyed, like hormones like serotonin, which is the hormone that just makes you feel at bliss, relaxed, happy with the world. 90% of that's made in your gut. So when you're eating these poisons, because that's what they are, people call them food, but they're an addictive, poisonous drug. When you look at the ingredients, half of them have numbers. It's obscene how they feed this to people. All these diseases didn't exist. Everyone was happy, and I mean, if everyone ate the proper human diet, I think society would be in a much better position. So, yeah, I just want to inspire as many people as I can to see the light.
So, you were talking about veganism before.
Mhm.
Um, how is the kind of the atmosphere about eating meat at the moment in New Zealand?
We're a very barbecue sort of country. Like there's not many vegetarians in New Zealand. Kind of like South Africa or one of those countries. I
Right.
wouldn't say a traditional dish, but it's if your mates are coming around, you have a barbie with them. So
Not too much of a push against buying meat and things
oh
like that.
no, no,
Oh,
absolutely not. It's the polar opposite,
oh,
really.
nice,
Yeah, if you're
nice.
if you're a vegetarian, everyone makes fun of you. So, or not in like not in a rude way, but in like
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah. Um, Interesting. So if you were giving advice to someone, whether it just you're at a barbecue with a friend and they say, "Look, I've noticed your diet's changed. You're doing really well. You've got lots of energy. I want some of that." Um,
Mhm.
how can I best get started with carnivore? What would you advise them?
Wow, I mean, see, it's a bit of a toss up here because a lot of people think that you should ease back on the plants 50% each week to avoid things like oxalate dumping and maybe prevent to some degree the gastrointestinal issues that some people get, when their stomach's getting used to this new diet. But I don't know if you're anything like myself, who's quite an extreme person. I think I'd struggle to ease my way into it. I kind of find it's easier just to absolutely send it, try something out, in complete contrast to what I was previously doing. So I mean, yeah, some people might think it's better to ease off the plants, but I think that you should just go straight into it, eat the meat, eat as much fatty meat as you want, and yeah, just I don't see an issue with that. And in my experience, all the people that have done that, maybe they'll have some stomach issues for a week or two, a little bit of keto flu, but it usually goes away after. The keto flu goes away very quickly, and then the stomach issues go away within a week or two. So I don't see an issue with just going straight into carnivore. And it's also like, why would you want if you've just come to the conclusion that plants are poison, which they are, why would you want to continue including more of that? So to me, it's just start the carnivore diet, eat whatever meats you want at the start, and then over time, what nearly everyone finds is the progression from just to more and more ruminant meat over time. As they are the most nutrient dense. It is the most nutrient dense type of animal, and it doesn't have the cows aren't fed the grains. So they're a lot healthier animals.
Yeah, I think my personality sounds very similar to yours. I'm like an all or nothing type, It's very hard for me to ease down on something. I'm either doing it or I'm not doing it,
Yeah, no, I'm the complete same.
Yeah. So, can you tell us about your YouTube channel? What kind of videos have you got there? What's coming up, and how can we find you?
Yeah, so I make about 4 YouTube videos per week. Usually, I've been obsessed, like I said earlier, I've been obsessed with fitness for a very long time. So I understand all the mechanisms behind fat loss and all the little tips and tricks that you can use to speed the fat loss process up. I mean, I've for the last year, I've spent hours and hours per day researching all the more, I guess you could say, like technical stuff. But I try to not speak too much on that sort of stuff until I have my biology degree. That's what I do. So yeah, I specialize in fat loss on the carnivore diet. That's kind of my thing. But yeah, my YouTube channel is just my name, Max German, for those who are interested.
Awesome. And so so we can maybe kind of try and balance out what's going on with your Instagram as well. Are you Max German over on Instagram too? If people want to
No,
follow
my
you there?
Instagram's actually Prime Carnivore. That's my Instagram name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe if we can get some followers there that are
Yeah, maybe.
coming over from YouTube that are not going to harass you about.
We need some
carnivore.
reinforcements. I'm being overwhelmed here in the comments. I got a couple people from YouTube that have come over, but man, I'm getting swarmed daily by the vegans. So we need some of the carnivores to come back, take back our territory.
Nice. Well, I'll link to those below.
Thank you very much.
Max, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate you having me on your show.